come out to play. Warrior.
Yo, what's good? Crypto and Down, episode 15, Gentlemen's of Crypto channel, episode, I think, 115 on our channel. Good to be here with y'all. It's Turban Tuesday. It's Asherell with the great jams, Jetson, JJ Wentworth. Man, busy day, but we're starting the week off strong. How you doing today, Jams?
Yo. Shout out to all the crypto rascals and the crypto warriors over on the Gentlemen of Crypto. As you stated, Asherell, it is Turban Tuesday. We are getting our Naya Bingi on. Shout out to our Jamaican brothers out there. Shout out to our Muslim brothers. Always protect your crown. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow our Facebook page at Crypto and Down. We are streaming there live now. Follow us on Instagram at Crypto and Down. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto and Down. We are streaming there live now as well. You can check out our NFT collection at OpenSea.io/Crypto and Down. We haven't made any recent moves, so you haven't missed anything recently. But as the market continues in this bear, we will jump back into the NFTs. But also follow me on Twitter at JamsJetson. But we are the Crypto Rascals. This is Crypto and Down. If this is your first time tuning in, we will start with the market provided to us by nomics.com, Clay Collins and team, and then we will move into a little bit of analytics. We'll get into our top crypto news stories of the day, and then roll into a little bit of down, some sport, some entertainment, some politics, just some more news that you can use. Asherell, how you feeling today?
Oh man, I'm pretty good. Staying busy as usual, but I feel pretty good today. It's a nice sunny day out, not too hot. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty chill, haven't just researching and listening to what's coming. So, but yeah, overall, I think I'm doing pretty good. What about you? You think how, I know the weekend was rough. Cowboys lost, Longhorns lost. But yeah, going into this week, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm settling into that fall. I can feel fall coming on. So, but yeah, overall, we're doing good down here.
Good to hear it. A rough weekend for Texans. You're right about that. Shit, all my football teams lost. Texas Longhorns took an L. Dallas Cowboys had a season opener and a season ender with the injury to Dak Prescott. So hopefully we can turn it around this week, have a little bit more exciting news when it comes to football and sports. But a big week in crypto, lots of things to talk about. Won't delay the show any further. So whenever you're ready to go, my brother, let's get it. Shout out to Finn in the comment section. Hey, yo, my brother, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, let's get it. All right, y'all know what it is. The top cryptocurrencies by market cap, brought to you by nomics.com, where we take a look at the top gainers, global market cap. Definitely want to check out that global volume as well as run through a few of the top 25, 50, 100. Who knows where we go once we start looking at the prices. But Jams, take us away, please.
All right, top gainer of the day is GX Chain Core A up 1,291%. Whatever the hell that is, I am
I
staying
like
the
those numbers.
away from it. If I see a top gainer up almost 1,300% on a day, that tells me don't even waste my time researching. Terra Luna Classic up 21%. If you are still out there purchasing Terra Luna Classic, I feel sorry for you. Number 3 coin up for the day is Terra, up 3.53%. If you are out there buying Terra, slap yourself. Number 4 coin is Celsius, up 1.63%. If you are buying Celsius, just go ahead and slap yourself again. Those are our top coins gainers of the day, and out of those 4, the crypto rascals are staying far away from that shit. Global market cap down hard today, 6.83% on the inflation news. Our latest CPI numbers show that there was a small reduction in inflation. However, not as significant of a reduction in the inflation as expected. Thus, we can predict the Fed will likely increase our interest basis points. Thus, the market has reacted and dropped almost 7% off of our global market cap. We were sitting at $1.1 trillion yesterday, and we're sitting at $1.03 trillion today. Global volume, $379 billion today, up 22.96% on this Turban Tuesday. We know that the markets were up significantly as far as volume goes yesterday, and that has continued into today. Look at the Bitcoin price, though, down almost 10% today after having had a nice bounce from the recent lows. The news coming out of the CPI numbers as well as the Fed and the interest rates has caused a lot of chaos once again in the markets. If you've been here for longer than a week or two, you know that we've been in a bear market, and you know that these interest rate hikes have disproportionately lowered our values when it comes to cryptocurrency prices. We are in a risk-off period. Our dollar is stronger, therefore our cryptocurrencies are seeing a small reduction.
So could you say that Bitcoin is not a store of value and a hedge against inflation, or?
I wouldn't conclude that as of yet, as Bitcoin is still in a inflationary period until we actually reach our full 21 million Bitcoin in production. So Bitcoin is continuing to inflate until 2,140 when the last Bitcoin will be mined. And then at that point, I do think that Bitcoin will be a true hedge against inflation and store of value. Is that what it is today? No, it's only 13 years old. So there is still more growth in building to be done on the Bitcoin blockchain. But is it the most successful cryptocurrency? Is it the first mover? Absolutely. And would I bet against Bitcoin surviving this bear market, the next bull market, the next bear market, the next bull market? Absolutely. So if I'm going to store my value in something, I want it to be permissionless, trustless. It may be confiscatable. Now, that's something that I may push back against, as the government has shown they can definitely confiscate Bitcoin. But I still believe in the technology itself. Bitcoin isn't just a price, a dollar value. If we think in the terms of Satoshi and the technology itself, I believe in all of those things as much as I did at 65,000, at 20,000. Bitcoin falls below $15,000. Hey man, turn on the money printers, Jerome Powell, because I'm gonna be spending all them stimulus checks on BTC, baby. So number 2 coin today is Ethereum, back down in that $1,500 range, trading at $1,582 today, down 7.7%. But the news of the merge is still lingering. Aave has said you can no longer borrow Ethereum, as there were speculators out there who were borrowing their Ethereum in anticipation of price rising on Thursday with the merge. There's many things to talk about the merge. We jumped into some of it yesterday, but shout out to my man in the comments section after the show last week. He said, "You guys didn't even talk about the merge, and it was in your title." Well, my man, clickbait is not a crime. Go back to yesterday's episode. We went very in depth into the Ethereum merge. So if you're upset that we didn't give you what you wanted, go back to episode 114 on our channel, and you will have your Ethereum merge deep dive. Tether in the number 3 spot today, at $67.89 billion worth of market cap. USDC at $51 billion in the number 4 spot. BNB at $277 per coin in the number 5. BUSD, we talked about it last week. And shout out to the brother in the comment section who was accurate in the stable coins that are no longer going to be accepted on the Binance exchange. Does have a market cap today of $20.27 billion. XRP in the number 3 spot, down 7.35%, trading at a bunch of threes, 33 cents. And Cardano in the number 8 spot, trading at 46.5 cents, down 7.16%. Number 9, you have Solana, trading at 33.25, down 11.2%, giving up some of those gains that it had over the last 7 days. It was doing relatively well, showing some strength, but pulling back obviously strong today. Polkadot rounding out our top 10, trading just over $7 per coin, down 7.57%. Dogecoin at 6 cents per coin. Polygon Matic at 84 cents, down 8.8%. So lots of red in our markets today. The coins that we see showing positive strength are coins that honestly none of us should likely be touching, having seen what happened at the start of this summer, having recognized the collapse of Celsius and Terra Luna, and even the second coin. I don't trust anything when it comes to algorithmic stable coins, nor do I trust any centralized borrower and lending platforms at this point. As Bitcoin Zay often says, not your keys, not your crypto, no keys, no cheese. So, hey man, if you haven't learned by now, I don't know when they will. Those were the top gainers of the day, and those are the ones you should stay away from. Markets are down due to inflation and the impending interest rate hikes from the Fed. But hey, that's a discount. That's a time for you to accumulate additional basis points. And Asherelle, whenever you're ready to jump into the volume as another metric, I'm ready.
Yeah, but before we do that, we like to take a dive into the data. I was just noticing all the 33s out here. XRP, which one was this? Liquid ETH. A lot of 33s, XRP. Yeah, I guess the Freemasons and the Illuminati are at work in the crypto space. So, but all right, all that aside, let's take a look at volume.
You did say something there that I do want to call out is the liquid stake price is 1533, but the Ethereum price is 1581. That's an easy arbitration opportunity for you. Is the price differential between the liquid stake ETH and the actual Ethereum token price itself. Many of the liquid stake ETH products are trading at a discount to Ethereum today, whether that's on Coinbase, whether that's on Lido. Many of those products are trading at a discount to Ethereum. Just a little...
Yeah, good. Nice tip there. That's a good tip. And those are some of the opportunities that I don't even notice sometimes where this game is still a lot of the trading speculation, still all about arbitrage.
Absolutely.
And arbitrage, I think, is one of those things that if you start, as I start to become more, I guess, business minded, thinking of ways to earn arbitrage in any market, any space, any business venture is kind of a sweet spot for skilled workers out there in all types of industries. So looking at the top volume, we've got Tether at 137.87 billion. In second place, we have Bitcoin coming in with 107.73 billion in volume, and Ethereum coming in at 39.76 billion. So I always like comparing the volume of Tether, the volume of Bitcoin, since they're so closely related, and that Tether was first created using Bitcoin, Bitcoin protocol, which is interesting. Just kind of watch those two in tandem, how they go in their volume, but also kind of comparing it against the other stable coins out there. What I've learned is it looks like Tether is the reserve currency of the crypto space, where people use it to buy either ETH or BTC. But coming in, you see BUSD, Binance's stablecoin, coming in with 23.6 billion in volume, as well as, let's take a look here, USDC, which has 8.36 billion in volume. And then Solana here, we see that kind of rounding out the top 5-6 here with 3.6 billion in volume, and not to be outdone by Terra as well. Maybe some correlation between the people behind Terra and Solana. I don't know, but like y'all,
correlation. I think you draw a good point there by acknowledging the volume on USDC and BUSD in comparison to Tether. I think that's something people should be aware of. How much volume is BUSD and USDC churning out in comparison to, as you stated, the stablecoin of many exchanges. Do want to hit the comment section. Teddy Harris says, "Man, I love this channel." Yes, sir. We appreciate the opportunity to be on with King Bless and Bitcoin Zay. Fat Daddy says, "HDAO in the building." The Coin Critic says, "Sup, brother. Glad to have you back in the comments." And then our brother Ben says, "Especially if you're buying ETH for longer term and can afford to wait." He's referring to the arbitrage opportunity on liquid stake ETH versus Ethereum. That's an easy $50 per coin that can be arbitraged if you are willing to wait. Glad that we were able to jump into our market recap pretty quickly there. We didn't go too far in depth. I know there are many other altcoins that people are interested in and that are moving, but there's a lot of news for us to get to. So we want to make sure that not only do we not gas ourselves out on the market recap, but that we leave room for analytics and our crypto news stories as well. So whenever you're ready, brother.
All right, let's go. All right, analytics topic today. I brought this up a lot, Trueflation. Now, you mentioned the CPI numbers that came out recently, and I honestly, I haven't checked. I heard about it. I didn't know exactly what they said the inflation percentage was. I did look through on Twitter in the screenshot I got just to see what they were saying about the different categories and get a little bit more insight into how they calculate it. And I did see something, I think, down to the different categories as far as the different types of retail, whether it's pants, how expensive it is, and the inflation rate like associated with that such a detailed category. But kind of in comparison to what the CPI does, I think it's good to have other resources that we can look at when it comes to things like inflation, just so we can track and see, okay, are the government's numbers matching up with numbers that we see here by these different blockchain projects where they're utilizing data that the government is also utilizing, but as far as maybe a little bit broader of a category. And for those of you who are curious, this is trueflation.com, where they kind of do a breakdown of a whole different bunch of categories, from non-alcoholic beverages, housing, transport, and then you can go through each one and see the percentage of inflation year over year time frame as well. So check that out if you just kind of want to check and see. Not to spend too much time on this, but it looks like their inflation year over year rate is standing at 8.96% as of September 12th, 2022.
And the official number that they released today set around 8.3%. Obviously, last month we were sitting at 8.5%. So 8.3% over the past year. In August is the number we saw. The Dow Jones Industrial fall 1,200 points today, almost 4%. S&P 500 fell 4.32%. NASDAQ fell 5.1%. Facebook lost 9%. NVIDIA lost 9%. So many people are saying that as we move below this 50-day moving average, even in our traditional stock markets, that there will be some turbulence with projection towards the downside in anticipation of the September 20th Fed meeting, which we are expected to get a third consecutive 0.75 percentage point interest rate hike to tamp down inflation. And quote here, the CBI report was an unequivocal negative for equity markets, crypto included. The hotter than expected report means we will get continued pressure from Fed policy via rate hikes. This comes from Matt Piron, Director of Research at Janus Henderson Investors. It also pushes back any Fed pivot that the markets were hopeful for in the near term. So if we were expecting them to stop raising interest rates, hopefully turn the money printer back on, it doesn't look like that is going to be happening based off of our recent inflation numbers. So those are the analytics behind why our prices are doing what they're doing, why the market is sitting at $1.03 trillion versus $1.1 trillion that we just saw yesterday. Sell-offs all across the board.
Yeah. When are they going to stop? Someone says they're probably going to stop crunching us, raising interest rates when they economically damage Europe enough where they all want to have to take that central bank digital currency. So we'll watch that and continue to see. Because I've been learning more about inflation and the ways the Federal Reserve has dealt with that in, say, the late 70s, early 80s to now. And they're different mindsets. This guy seems similar to, I guess, a guy called Volcker. But anyway, that guy pretty much aggressively raised rates, which ended up doing a lot of harm to the average consumer. So he seems to be going in that direction. But the lag of data that they're receiving, whether they may be reacting too late and do the wrong thing at the wrong time, which causes it to be a longer, deeper recession and kind of hurt the consumer more. But we'll see how that plays out with different countries. If it's bad over here and it's 86% inflation for heating and utilities in the UK, but only around 14 to 16% here, it's kind of relative. So,
hey man, and they were hopeful that the drop in gas prices would lead to a reduction in inflation. But here are just some other data points for the people. The CPI is actually based on various consumer products, not just oil and gas. Food prices were up 0.8%. Flour was up 2.2%. Potatoes rose 2.5%. Butter was up 1.9%. And canned fruit spiked 3.4%. So they don't see these reduction in inflation because not only are all of these foods costing more, many other consumer goods, such as pharmaceuticals, are also costing more as well. So if we don't have a reduction in prices across the board, you have high feed, high water costs, high electricity costs, then ultimately you won't see a reduction in inflation, and the Fed will continue in that same direction until we are all evicted on unemployment, begging on our knees for help. This is the way the Fed likes to fight inflation. And thank you for sending me that article yesterday about how energy prices aren't the same in the US versus Europe based on our seasonal usage of energy. The US uses its most amount of energy during the summertime to cool our homes, but Europe, especially the Western European countries,
Germany,
most energy during the winter. So if Russia persists to lock down the energy supply into Western Europe when they need it most, when Germany is cold, when it is a long, cold winter in Belgium, guess what?
Bro,
The EU can't do anything, and that basically forced their hand to.
now look, they told their people already. I think it was the Germany prime minister, chancellor, I don't know what they call them, but they pretty much told their people, like, we're going to have to bear this cost, and it's going to be a cold ass winter. So,
Absolutely.
like, it's going to get crazy over there because people are going to be hungry, cold. But to the Russians, they're like, yo, that's just, yeah, that's how they live. So it could get real crazy over there, where Russia may have them, depending on the moves they make, if they're going to commit to kind of starving themselves of energy. It may eventually have big moves may have to happen where they either back down and give Russia what it wants, or I don't know, but it could get pretty bad. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's get into some of these top stories. You know, we want to make sure that we're hitting the stories that we put in the titles and not just clickbaiting y'all. So let's
do it.
Let's get to it. Okay, bear with me here, y'all. Let's check out this story. You can now earn Bitcoin by surfing the web on Chrome, Brave, and more. Slice's browser extension has implemented Zebedee's tech to pay users BTC for viewing ads. Oh, okay. Check this article from Decrypt from Andrew Hayward. Shout out to Andrew in that cool ass image. So ad tech startup Slice has implemented Bitcoin's Lightning Network into its web browser extension, letting users earn BTC rewards for viewing ads. So it uses Zebedee's Lightning Network integration, which has previously been used across various games. So very interesting. Brave browser, shout out to the Brave browser, popularized the concept of giving users crypto rewards for using its web browser, and has seen surging user counts as a result. So, shout out to Brave. That was one of the first, I think, applications that I first learned about when I started diving into cryptocurrency really heavily a few years ago. And it was a kind of a cool one to experience. And I got set up there, and I think they're connected with the Uphold Bank, which is one of those pretty, I think, neat crypto. I guess, yeah, it's definitely centralized, but if you're looking for the experience that you may not necessarily be getting from a Coinbase or crypto.com, Uphold is one where they don't seem too flashy. They're Australian based, but they're paired with Brave. So check them out if you are in business and need to go in between the fiat and crypto world. That may be a good option for entrepreneurs or people in business doing crypto. But nevertheless, all that being said, Jams, what do you think about people earning Bitcoin? Slice's action. I know you checked out the Brave browser before. Yep. So what are your thoughts on this article?
So I think this is, as King and Bitcoin Zay would say, another base hit. Brave browser, as you mentioned, has been around for some time. Shout out to Ruel Black. He put me on to pre-search a few months ago, and I've been utilizing pre-search ever since then. You do earn for utilizing pre-search versus Google. It is a decentralized private search engine. But here is Slice's browser extension, which will pay you BTC for watching ads. Hell, we get ads shown to us every day, all day, but we don't actually get paid for viewing them. So I actually do like this idea by Slice. It is actually built on the Lightning Network for micropayments with the Zebedee payment startup technology. And one thing that Zebedee has been doing is, if you're familiar with the video game Counter-Strike, is you can wager and win small amounts of Bitcoin measured in Satoshis and based on each game. But they also expanded into earning Bitcoin while playing solitaire, while playing Sudoku. And so there is already proof that this ad system based on Zebedee and the Lightning Network can work. In July, Zebedee raised $35 million in its Series B funding round. So in the heart of a bear market, they're collecting checks, $35 million checks, and they're continuing to focus on the new technologies in gaming and the Web3 space. So think of ads as another potential way for you to earn additional revenue while just living your everyday life. I often talk about platforms such as Lolly, platforms such as Fold. Um, Shout out to Ruel Black again for his expertise on pre-search. We've all utilized Brave, but here's another opportunity for you to earn income passively, BTC specifically, via Slice. One other little nugget from that article is that if you do utilize Brave browser and you included, excuse me, let me just read this so it says correctly. But now you can add similar functionality to an array of browsers, including Chrome and also Brave, and earn Bitcoin in the process. So it's basically saying here that not only will you earn the Brave basic attention token, you will also earn the Bitcoin rewards. Brave users will be able to earn both Bitcoin rewards via slices and Braves on basic attention token at the same time. A Zebedee representative confirmed, enabling a double dip of crypto rewards in exchange for seeing more ads while browsing. You're going to see the ads anyway. Why not double dip and earn BTC and BAT at the same time? That may be something that you can dump at the height of the bull market and just again gain some additional cryptocurrency that you didn't have otherwise for ads that you were going to see anyway. So I like that story.
Yeah, thanks for showing us Slice. That's another one to definitely check out. Couple there in everything you mentioned. So the actual fact that these extensions and the browser, when I've heard people talk about, oh, where are we moving? What's the internet, the web? What's that moving to? And it's definitely going to be in these browsers and how we interface with these browsers and these different extensions. And so I think as crypto weaves its way into browser extensions, if you're thinking of where the opportunities are going to lie, there are a lot of opportunities and things I think where crypto is going. From the research I've done, people who are developing, leading in the space and what their thoughts on it, I'm like, oh, okay. One of the things definitely that they said is the web browser is going to become ever more so important. So Brave, Chrome kind of seem to be leading. So between pre-search, DuckDuckGo, and the ways they find to utilize cryptocurrency, that's going to be interesting to see how it benefits us to do the things that we hate online. Not hate, but I don't like looking at ads too much, honestly, because usually they're trash.
They are, and I mean, you can earn pennies USD by just watching ads. I mean, there are plenty of platforms where you can earn, $5 just by clicking.
Right, it's like, how are they going to get you to stay in the metaverse from your web browser? Like, how are we going to pay you to deal with all this? Look at all these ads in the metaverse. Well, at least you'll be earning some cryptocurrency while you got the Oculus strapped to your face.
Hey, I'm gonna have to hit up Slice and tell them if they want to run some ads on cryptoanddown.com. That as long as they pay in BTC, hey, we willing to talk business, baby.
Hey man, go to cryptoanddown.com, scroll down, and you'll see the email for sponsorships down at the bottom. Whoever is listening, so reach out. Here we go. Fidelity is considering offering Bitcoin to retail investors. According to WSJ, teased by Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz. Oh, Mike Novogratz. I know a few folks who know Mike Novogratz. I don't know Mike Novogratz personally, but shout out to the people who mess around with this guy. The wealth management giant is mulling a deeper dive into crypto. Okay, Fidelity Investments. And this article from Decrypt is by Matt DeSalvo, I think. Fidelity customers may soon be able to buy Bitcoin via the company's brokerage platform, according to the Wall Street Journal. Boston-based investment giant Fidelity, which manages over 34.4 million retail accounts and is one of the world's biggest fund managers, is evaluating whether to offer Bitcoin to its individual investors. The newspaper Wall Street Journal, I'm assuming, reported Monday. Dang. They haven't shared the plans with their clients yet, but Fidelity has an app that allows its retail customers to manage their investments from their phones. Oh, how technologically advanced from Fidelity. What do you think about this?
Hey, I like it. As a one-time Fidelity user, who,
He said one time.
you know, at one time as a
Okay.
user of Fidelity, um, I like it because I do believe that they have the technological know-how to not only expand upon their existing application to add in Bitcoin sales for retail investors. I also think they have the um, Wall Street backing to do so in a way that would invite less security concerns, which may be a catch 22 that when retail investors feel secure in a institution such as Fidelity, there are over 34 million users of Fidelity for their investment accounts. That may be, a smaller attack vector as there is a centralized point. But I think their global macro director, Jerry and Timmer, is right. Bitcoin is gaining credibility and as a digital analog of gold, but with greater convexity. My guess is that Bitcoin will, over time, take more market share from gold. So I like to see these
What that
traditional
mean?
finance powerhouses get into the game because it will ultimately onboard more users as users will feel more secure utilizing a existing Fidelity platform versus a FTX versus a crypto.com, a company that they don't have um, brand market recognition. And that was the article yesterday. Today we hear,
Hmm.
not to jump ahead, but today we hear Charles Schwab, Citadel, and Fidelity are going to launch their own EDX markets exchange because it's going to be safer, faster, and more efficient cryptocurrency trading. So Mike Novogratz might have jumped the gun just a little bit by coming out and saying that a little birdie told him that Fidelity was going to be getting into the Bitcoin game because just the next day later, we found out that not only are they getting into the game, the intention of the industry consortium is to build market infrastructure that contributes to increased optionality for liquidity to facilitate a more efficient, secure, and cost effective process for trading digital assets. Increased optionality for liquidity means we have the backing of the big boys. We have the Citadels, we have liquidity, we have Sequoia Capital. So now, if they're going to say, oh, we have these liquidity issues, no, that's a phone call, pick up the bank and say, yeah, we'll deposit
Yeah.
$1 billion into your account and you can resume Bitcoin trading. Now, if Bitcoin trading were to ever stop on a Fidelity platform, or they were to say that they do not have liquidity, they're experiencing liquidity issues like many of these other exchanges have done, then we get to say bullshit. So that's that story in a nutshell. But here's the last quote I want to bring. The world of digital assets has long been thought to be complicated with things like private keys and other things related to storage and custody, typically putting off the traditional investor. But EDXM will serve both institutions and retail investors, giving them a safe entry point to crypto, today's statement said. So if we take them at face value, they're going to try and usher in a safer legacy finance backed way for you retail investors and institutional investors to trade in and out of Bitcoin. Interestingly enough, altcoins were not mentioned in this at all. Only Bitcoin was mentioned. And Gary Gensler just announced on Friday that he doesn't believe Bitcoin is under the purview of the SEC, that it is a commodity and should be regulated by the CFTC, and that the altcoins, he ain't making a decision on them. So it's interesting to see these traditional legacy finance companies say, hey, we're going to do a Bitcoin exchange, not a all cryptocurrency exchange.
Yeah.
Always pay attention to the wording and the language itself.
Yeah, that's a good call out there, and that should let us know what they've decided is maybe a foundation of the new system they're bringing in. So yeah, we talked about it before, how they've utilized to make the central bank digital currency. They've utilized the actual code and model of Bitcoin when it comes to the like coin unspent transaction model versus the other models that say Ethereum has more of, I think, kind of like would it be similar to a bank, more of like a, I forget exactly what it's called. But all that being said, it's like the high Bitcoin has kind of passed the test. I think it's been through the fire, where it's not necessarily the most popular as far as public opinion of it, and the people, as far as like the avid, rabid fans of Bitcoin that we were talking about yesterday or the other day. But it definitely is one where we talked about that Peter Zian guy. If the people are retiring, the baby boomer generation is definitely retiring, and there's going to be a mass exit. And with all their money, they're looking for different things. So what are they looking for? Something that is safe, stable, not highly volatile, has stood the test of time, is going to be able to, the different agencies in the government can come to an agreement of what it is and or what it's specifically not. If they're saying it's not a security, but they don't know what it is, but we're going to work with it and play with it, and it's already being used in energy down in Texas, where we get most of our energy from here, then this is a good bet, I think, for people who are retiring, have a lot of money to put into crypto. It's definitely going to be controlled by bigger state actors when it comes to Bitcoin, and probably the price action and even the mining, as we have seen.
Hey, I just want them to know their website is ass. EDXM Markets. Your website is ass.
Oh, for real?
The only thing we can do is click and go to the press release. And if we go to the press release, it is a good statement. It's basically exactly what we just said. Crypto is a $1 trillion global asset class with over 300 million participants and pent up demand for millions more. Unlocking this demand requires a platform that can meet the needs of both retail traders and institutional investors with high compliance and security standards. They're attempting to eliminate technological and organizational bottlenecks and provide a safe entry point to crypto and serve as the exchange of choice for trading digital assets on a platform designed for and used by leading financial institutions. So it will meet the needs of the world's largest and most sophisticated financial institutions, as well as those of retail investors, by leveraging a network of select digital custodians to safeguard assets. And it will remove the conflicts of interest that affect existing cryptocurrency exchanges by separating responsibility for operating the exchange from the entities trading on the exchange. And their big thing is tighter spreads enabled by greater liquidity. So you got the big boys, the broker dealers, the global market makers, and the venture capital firms announcing today that EDX Markets is coming and they will be taking over your blockchain.
Interesting. I'm going to give a plug just because we were talking about different exchanges. We brought up FTX. I brought up uphold.com earlier. Go check this out if is this something you think you could utilize for your business or getting in and out of cryptocurrency. Not only do they offer different cryptocurrencies, I think they offer staking features, but you can actually get into different fiat currencies as well. I think you can get into the Chinese currency and some other different currencies. So whether or not you want to utilize this for crypto, or want to utilize it for precious metals, equities, national currencies, this could be a good step here. And I'm like, yeah, maybe Fidelity and a lot of these places or different businesses are going to look similar in all the different things they offer, giving people, Americans per se, a little bit more access to invest in the precious metals, maybe get some exposure to foreign currencies, as well as the economy evolves and these technological fintech. We definitely remember we talked to Devanya Evans before. She was talking about the old system, the new system, and them coming to an agreement.
Yeah, fintech is here to stay, and diversification, I think, is something everyone should be willing to do if they do want to hedge against a new technology that continues to emerge and is disruptive. There will be losers. So, putting all eggs in one basket likely isn't the safest of plays. Shout out to Zinzale18. Here's to see if Fidelity rolls out a crypto exchange market or just sell from custody like Robinhood. A great question. I think we should probably separate the EMX markets from their Fidelity app. Now, will that be the same technology that backs the Fidelity app? Me, myself, I doubt that. I don't know if they're going to give their retail customers the same level of sophistication and access as others. However, if they are, then I do want to have a true spot exchange where I have the ability to custody my own crypto. I do not want to actually be a sold paper or a derivative of my Bitcoin, while they, in fact, actually hold the keys to my crypto itself. Those are details yet to be released. That's why I said their website is ass, because none of those questions are answered. The only thing they have is a press release. Trust us,
Yeah.
liquidity. So that's all we can do right now.
I'm like, whatever. We'll see when it's up.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta wait and see. We ain't seen nothing yet. They just announced. Mike Novogratz said, "Hey, this coming yesterday," and then today we get the news. So, not a coincidence. They haven't built anything. Yeah. We ain't seen shit. So
yeah, we ain't seen it. What's up, Hoxton Doom? Shout out to you. All right, let's see. Don't want to spend too much time in this, but let's roll through here. Actually, let's take a quick break, and then we'll hit some more stories, get into the down section. I think I see a few funny, cool things here on Twitter, but we shall be right back.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button. 2,000 likes, 3,000 likes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I like you like it. I know you like watching. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. But you'll take, will smack your head.
All right. We back. It is another story here for you, man. What's up with your boy here? Your boy, man. Your man's. Hey. Fidel Castro's son, Justin Trudeau. He slams conservative rivals' irresponsible Bitcoin views. Pierre Poilievre recently won the Conservative Party leadership, and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau is wasting no time taking aim at his opponent's position on Bitcoin. Shout out to Andrew Throuvalas, who wrote this article from Decrypt here. But it seems here, he said he criticized his new political rival for his irresponsibility in promoting cryptocurrencies to his followers. Quote, telling people they can opt out of inflation by investing their savings in volatile cryptocurrencies is not responsible leadership, he said.
Yo, boo this man. Like, how many times do we have to read articles about Justin Trudeau just being on the wrong side of history? Like, how many times can you just be on the wrong side of history? Let's go through what he said, so I'm not projecting. I'm actually reading his words that came off his Twitter fingers. Telling people they can opt out of inflation by investing their savings in volatile cryptocurrencies is not responsible leadership. By the way, anyone who followed that advice would have seen their life savings destroyed. We've made every effort to work with all parliamentarians over the years, and we'll continue to do so. But we'll also call out questionable, reckless economic ideas. Canadians deserve responsible leadership. Well, on Saturday, in a landslide victory, scoring over 68% of the party vote, Poilievre won. And Dan Hale responded to Justin Trudeau saying, telling people that they can opt out of inflation and the responsible leadership. What I read to you earlier, he says, "Oh, F off, you authoritarian twat." We gave Dan Held his propers yesterday after he had a great talk and take against Bitcoin maximalism, understanding that we are all in this fight together. We're better together than we are divided. I love that he openly called out Justin Trudeau and his ability to always find himself on the wrong side of history. This is the right side of history from Paul Rivera. He says, government is ruining the Canadian dollar, so Canadians should have the freedom to use other money, such as Bitcoin. Let's make Canada the blockchain capital of the world. But there are, of course, liberal opponents that attack them because of what? The group organized in protest of COVID, that virus vaccines, and they raised nearly 1 million in Bitcoin to support its cause. Fighting against life-saving vaccines is not responsible leadership. So remember that freedom convoy that they had in Canada? Looks like Polar Bear supported it. Justin Trudeau had them people locked down. Justin Trudeau was trying to take everybody rights away. Justin Trudeau was going in their bank account, seizing everybody money. And here he go again, out here telling people that, you know, you can't put your money where you want to. You can't take risks in life. If you want to get to where I'm at, no. Justin Trudeau, hey, go solve some of them damn crimes in Toronto. I be watching them YouTube videos. While you over there trying to lock down the freedom convoys and lock down the people in Canada and steal all their money, you need to be actually solving some of them damn crimes in Toronto. And by the way, I agree with Dan Hale. You are a authoritarian twat. So shout out to the boys. If any Canadians out there, we support you guys, man. Hopefully y'all vote his ass up out of there because shit, I might be voting Joe Biden ass out of here. Whole Biden gotta go. Jim Crow Joe gotta go.
All right, I'm gonna play before we move on. Don't want to spend too much time on this, but slight devil's advocate here for Trudeau, blackface Trudeau, as I like to call him.
Oh yeah, man. But don't forget about that. I forgot to call that out too.
So, as far as like buying, if someone had said, "Yo, buy cryptocurrencies," or use your savings to buy cryptocurrencies, then okay, I would agree with that. I would say at the end of the day, when you buy cryptocurrencies, most of these cryptocurrencies, you're making the person who created it money. At the end of the day, I think the best advice is if you want to beat inflation, everybody create your own cryptocurrency. You should do that.
Make your own NFT collection.
Yeah, I will tell you though, you know, people who made money on NFTs were the people who made them, who created the NFTs. Oh man.
Hey, but I'm glad you did bring that up. I'm not taking advice from any guy who wears this, like, so if he's out here telling people what to do with their money, like I don't want to hear it. Like I want him to make sure that the next time he decides to like dress up as Arabian Nights, like damn bro, like did you just find like the darkest like shoe polish in the closet, bro? Like was you like us? Like that was the worst blackface I think I probably ever seen. Like how is he still the prime minister with that kind of blackface? Like that was that was actually.
I don't know. I think he looked really good.
Like here,
I think he looked good.
We had a whole hearing about a white man who supposedly had blackface in the yearbook, but nobody could find the yearbook picture of Kavanaugh with the blackface. Nobody could find, you know, the woman. True. But they damn sure found this picture.
Hey man, this looks like this is probably like after like an orgy or something.
Bro, that is the worst blackface of all.
Some role. They were doing some role playing. Bro. All four of them.
Bro, ain't nobody topping Justin Trudeau in that picture, bro. There will be no politician in history who will ever have a worse blackface picture than that one. Who is he trying to be? There go two real Sikh dudes right there. So, like, dude, what was you really trying to do? Like,
Oh,
My God,
you know,
come on,
he just paying homage to the not homage, but people who used to run it and who his faction took control from.
hey man. So shout out to the Moors out there, man. Shout out to the conservatives out in Canada. Be
Yeah,
telling people what to do with their money. Bro, don't you ever wear that
funny.
shoe polish again outside. Like, don't do that again.
Dang, he almost fooled me. All right, let's see here. Let's get into some of the down bummer news. You sent me this. What's coming down for
Yeah, man.
all of us? What's up with this?
So while we have talked about the crypto markets, we talked about the Federal Reserve, the increase of interest rates that are oncoming. A little news that hasn't really been talked about much is that there is a looming railroad strike, and that there's a impasse and a disagreement between management and labor over sick time and penalties for missing work. And guess who can't solve the problem? President Biden, just before the midterm elections. So conductors and engineers can be on call for 14 consecutive days without a break, and they don't receive a single sick day, paid or unpaid. So the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, BLET, says the average American would not know that we get fired for going to the doctor. This one thing has our members most enraged. We have guys who were punished for taking time off for a heart attack and COVID. It's inhumane. So when could the strike begin? A federally mandated cooling off period ends Friday, which opens the possibility of a strike. So as of Friday, the train, or 2/3 of the largest train labor unions, could refuse to work and lock out. But what does that matter?
Dang.
Amtrak has started to warn passengers that interruptions will begin on Tuesday on this network. To avoid possible disruptions, they will start pulling trains on 3 long-distance routes. These adjustments are necessary to ensure trains can reach their terminals prior to freight railroad interruption. Let me read that again. Can reach their terminals prior to freight railroad service interruption if a resolution and negotiations are not reached. If a strike isn't averting, commuter lines that run between major cities and suburbs could be affected, since those routes often operate on freight tracks, which would not be available to passenger trains. A strike could have significant impact on retailers who rely on freight rails to transport inventory from ports to warehouses and distribution centers. What a problem to have right before the holiday season. The shutdowns would cause a domino effect. Retailers will miss their shipping and pickup dates, leaving cargo in limbo without a place to go. Didn't we already have supply chains problems in America? It's going to add to the ongoing congestion that we're facing within the supply chain, and that all adds additional costs that folks haven't paid for. So we got the CPI report today. Now we have news that there is a impending railroad strike coming, and we already have supply chain issues. So that's going to add additional costs, which will rise inflation further, which will cause the Fed to hike prices further, which causes more bleeding and poverty in our streets. The potential here could be significant on the economy, especially for everybody who's relying on the rails for both imports and exports. That's all of us. So,
Well, yeah, it's most of us. To be close, you better get close to a coastal port city. So it's the trends of people this generation, a few generations above us retiring. There's going to be a huge labor shortage over the next 20 to 30 years. So we're looking at high prices, not just because of fuel, but labor shortages, maybe on the high end for skilled workers, people who can skill up and put in the time to acquire certifications. That may be a benefit where you see a nice high return as far as the time you put in and what you get back with different certifications, because there's a labor shortage and you may be the only one that is able to do some of the things that are going to be required as we're starting to manufacture more here. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Labor shortages. We need to build apartments. We're like having all these people moving in, and then the railroad hired vigorously in the early 2000s, like post like 9/11. Like there was a huge hiring of railroad workers, but now those guys are at 20 years worth of service. Now those guys, were in their late 20s, early 30s, but now they're in their 50s, almost 60. They ain't ready to retire, get their bread, and go sit down. But there aren't people jumping to fill those spots, especially in the middle of these guys saying, hell, we can't even get off work for 2 weeks to go to the doctor. And I just had a heart attack yesterday. So yes, we're in for a labor crunch. And Hawks and Doom says robots. Yes, because Biden was just at that factory in Ohio that they're building, this like $20 billion factory. And most of it is supposed to provide like 3,000 jobs in Columbus. But a lot of those jobs are going to be
those are like high end, like
robot, and many of those positions will ultimately be filled by robots as well. So 1 bedroom for $4K a month, yeah, that's that bullshit. I saw a lady today that said her landlord in New York City tried to take her rent from like I think she said $3,000 a month to like $4,700 a month, and she had roaches and all kind of shit running in. I'm like, hey, bro, like, Biden, you gotta go, my guy. Like, I know it ain't all on you, but like, shit, you the last man there. So that who else we gonna fire? So we gotta fire somebody. Like, shit, you the only one there, so we fire you.
Hey, this thing should be interesting to strike. The strike and the labor unions, because it seems like both parties would like labor unions. Kind of be on their sides. It seems like that's what, not both parties, but as far as if you compare Trump and you compare Biden, like when they say support the police, it's kind of like, well, they're supporting the police unions. When they say support the teachers, I mean, that's telling you, hey, we're supporting the teachers union. So those different both sides, it's like they still kind of, it'll be interesting to see how they come down and decide if this gets pretty intense. If they take the Biden administration, they may take a side of the workers in this instance and apply some pressure. We'll see how this plays out. Not only in the railroad industry, but different critical industries as far as transportation and energy across the U.S.
Hey man, so Brett Favre out here securing welfare funding for his daughter to play volleyball. So he's stealing money from the state of Mississippi, and the black people in Mississippi don't even have water in Jackson. What the hell going on, man? See, I just jumped on Twitter, and then sometimes when I jump on Twitter, I'd be like, did I read that right? Does that even make sense?
I mean, what did he get? All right, let me pull this.
Former Governor Phil Bryant helped Brett Favre secure welfare funding for USM Volleyball Stadium. Never before seen text messages show former Governor Phil Bryant tried to shepherd a proposal to use welfare funds on the construction of a new volleyball stadium for retired NFL player Brett Favre. A project prosecutor have called a scheme to defraud the government. Bryant has previously denied any involvement with the project, which has emerged as the centerpiece of a massive criminal scandal in which prominent officials misspent or stole millions in welfare funds intended for the states or the nation, not the states, the nation's poorest residents. So $77 million, damn. And y'all want to talk about stealing from crypto? Go investigate them. So what followed was the biggest public fraud case in state history, according to the state's auditor's office. Nonprofit leaders had misspent at least $77 million in funds that were supposed to help the needy. New pleaded guilty to 13 felony counts related to the scheme in Davis awaits trial, but neither Bryant nor Favre have been charged. And while the state-of-the-art facility represents the single largest known fraudulent purchase within the scheme, the state is not pursuing the matter in its ongoing civil complaint. Mississippi. Current Governor Tate Reeves abruptly fired the attorney bringing the state's case when he tried to subpoena documents related to it. Woo! That's bad. if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? Brett Favre. No, we never had that information publicized. I understand you being uneasy about that, though. Let's see what happens on Monday with the conversation with some of the folks at Southern. Maybe it will click with them, hopefully. Okay, thanks. Wow, just got off the phone with Phil Bryant. He is on board with us. We'll get this done. Awesome. I needed to hear that for sure. So we needed to hear that the governor was on board with him stealing $77 million from the state. Hey, man, when they be wondering why they got dirty water in Jackson, Mississippi, shit, go ask Brett Favre. Now we know why.
Hey, dang. Man, yeah, a lot of fraud, I guess, in this country going on with the people in government, and they out here scheming, taking money. Well, hey, you got yours. Now they gonna get you, Brett.
Hey,
man, Brett's always show. I heard about this. Honestly, I heard about this before. I just this has been around for I think a little bit. I just forgot about some of the stuff, but I've seen that come up. I'm like, Brett can't stay out of the press.
Hey man, I also see that Post X trending on Twitter. Shout out to Post X. Shout out to the Mexicans out there, Poseidons. There was some recent news on the Post chain. Limit orders on Post X are now available on the testnet, so that is a recent development. As having the ability to execute a limit order or leave a limit order on the book to execute it at a lower price is awesome. So to see Post X trending as a result of that news is pretty cool. But I did see one other story that was interesting. The NBA has suspended Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury owner Robert Sarver for 1 year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fined him $10 million for workplace misconduct and organizational indecency. So last time that there was an owner running around saying the N-word, what is his name, Donald Sterling, and then they fired that man. They called him on the videotape and with his girl or something. Wasn't that true?
Yeah, I mean, they fired him because he said something about Magic Johnson, not because he said the N-word.
Hey, man. So this dude says he's going to put his $10 million up. Oh, yeah. Donald Sterling was banned for life and was fined $2.5 million, the largest at that time. This is 4 times that amount. Homeboy gets to apologize. And seems like the league found that he engaged in crude sexual and vulgar commentary and conduct in the workplace, including reference to sexual acts, condoms, and anatomy. Investigation found he sent a small number of male Suns employees joking pornographic material, including nude women and a video of people doing the thing. Sarver, he exposed himself unnecessarily to a male Suns employee during a fitness check, caused another player to become uncomfortable by grabbing him and dancing pelvis to pelvis at a holiday party. Okay. Also,
so it wasn't. I'm like, sometimes I read these things and they're like, it's because he said the N-word. I'm just like, or it's because he's just wilding too much and everything. And they were like, yo, go sit down for a year. Wait, he was grabbing people, humping people, flashing at trainers. You hit it, sending porn to people. I'm like,
you hit the nail on the head.
I'm just like, I hate when I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. He said the N-word, but I'm like, yo, you seem to be doing a lot of stuff. He's wilding. Like,
yeah,
okay, go sit down for a year, sir. Like, then you can come back.
You can't
sending people porn.
You can't.
He's sending people porn. Hey, come on. I understand if it's your homeboy, but like your homies, like
nah.
But you're sending random. You're sending random women who work for you.
My man, shout out to the Phoenix Suns, man.
And see, with the other owners,
they got a black coach too, man. See, they got a black coach. Yeah, it's always, hey, man, just. Something about that story wasn't right. Glad we looked into that one really quick.
Yeah, I was like, interesting. Man.
Let me see if I see anything else that's kind of trending in the news worth talking about. I didn't watch the Emmys, so I don't care nothing about acceptance speeches.
Yeah,
not my thing. Sorry, guys. And let's see. Oh, rest in peace to PNB Rock, man. We got to stop killing each other, man, over jury. Like you see, I ain't got no jury on, man. I you gonna if you gonna ride me for some jury that I ain't got, you gonna have to figure out my keys because that's the only way you're gonna get it. So let's stop killing each other for material things. Rest in peace to PNB Rock. We all can be killed. Bullets kill all. They don't discriminate between like, oh, you were a church boy or you were a gangster. No, it don't matter. Bullet eat everybody life the same way. So let's just stop shooting one another as a people. It's Turban Tuesday. We can do better than that. Definitely want to say that as one of our last thoughts of the night because it is a tragedy that we as a people, a community, can't stop, killing each other over senseless things. I got kids to raise. I got shit to do. And the last thing I want to do is kill one of you motherfuckers for doing the wrong damn thing. Shout out to Sauce Walker. Shout out to all the boys trying to keep the peace, man. Even shout out to my boy Charleston White, because you was right, Charleston White. Hey, these gangs have gotten out of control. I'm about to turn into the DA in Atlanta and start locking everybody ass up if we don't cut this shit out. So, hey, let's do better, man. Love to all the people out there. This is Turban Tuesday. Hopefully we said something that you could use, and this was the news as you needed it. Asherel, last words, my brother.
Peace.